Hey guys, welcome to the Centre Bounce. It's your boy Joe, and yes, I'm in Essendon gear. This video is about what I want to see from the Bombers this off season. There's a trade. The silly season has come. It's now genuinely gone bananas, but especially with the news of Claire and Oliver, that's all been put to rest. Thought about doing this video, especially if the Claire and Oliver news continued to swirl around and continue to pick up some hype. Obviously, would have been someone that I would have been incredibly invested into trying to get to the Bombers, but he's sticking around. He's going to stay over there with the Demons. So, what have we got to do? We've obviously got some players leaving the side at the Bombers. We've got Massimo D'Ambrosio wanting to move to Hawthorn. We've got BZT looking to move to Port Adelaide as well. So, and Andrew Phillips has retired. So, best of luck to Flipper in his next journey. But am I complaining? Am I going to cry about BZT and Massimo D'Ambrosio leaving? No, I'm not, to be completely honest with you. And I'm sure a lot of Essendon supporters aren't crying about it either. We might have been crying if Mackay did not nominate to come to the Bombers. I think we all would have been collectively crying because our tall defender stocks would have significantly been reduced. But thankfully, he is going to stick around, and we are looking forward to bringing Mackay to the side to replace BZT, and that is, without a shadow of a doubt, it is an improvement. It is an improvement in a key metric, being the ability to win back the ball through one-on-one marking, intercept marking in particular. Mackay is incredibly, you can't compare him to BZT when it comes to that aspect of the game. So having Mackay come to the side, yes, he does have some injury concerns, and obviously us at the Bombers aren't the best at when it comes to managing people's injuries. So number one on my wish list before any players come to the side, number one on my wish list is us being able to rectify all of our mismanagement of injured players. We need the right people off field that can manage the players to get the best out of them on field. I know we're investing a lot of money into getting development coaches, into getting the right people into the club. We still need to fix that health department. The fitness team needs to be reworked. I'm sick and tired of seeing the same players injured all of the time. Now we've got the news that Sammy Draper, he's going to have to go. He had to go to surgery, and he's not going to be running till January. That is, frankly, unacceptable. We need to fix that off field. That's probably the biggest thing that I need fixed from a non-player perspective. BZT can go. Mackay come in. That's an upgrade. Massimo leaving. It's unfortunate because we loved using Mass as our super sub. He wasn't capable of breaking into the side, and he's just not ahead of Nick Hind. It is what it is. Would it have been great to have him stick around? Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. But I think that just goes to show that maybe we aren't missing something really great. We put a contract on the table for him, and he turned it down. He didn't want to bide his time. He didn't want to continue to develop. He wants to go to the Hawks, who are going to give him game time right here, right now. Personally, I think that's taking the easy way out. Commit to the team, commit to the build, earn your way into the side, kick Nick Hind out, and keep that spot. But he didn't decide to do that. He wanted to go to the Hawks. So best of luck to him at the Hawks. Not really. Thank you very much for some good times, Mass. But yeah, I think that is not a great reflection on you to have to take the easy way out. Nick Hind isn't a spring chicken anymore. And you certainly have a lot of upside. You just got to work on that fitness base in order to play out a full game. You clearly have some X factor. You clearly have some ability. However, you got to earn your spot in the team, and you got to stay there. So the fact that you decide that you're not going to compete, the fact that you're going to go to the Hawks, who are throwing contracts at a lot of people, it's got to be said. Best of luck to you, mate. We've had some fresh news that Xavier Dersma has come to the club today and done a medical. I'm really pleased about this because Xavier Dersma is someone who a lot of people might be forgetting. He was the talk of the town. He was up there. He was getting a lot of attention. Him with Rosie and Butters in that trio of selections in that one draft. He is someone with a lot of potential, someone who hasn't been able to play out a full season because of injury, but he is capable. He's got talent, and that Port Adelaide side is really good. So I don't want people to think that, I'd personally love it if we got a BZT swap for Dersma, just a straight swap. I wouldn't be against that at all because BZT, yes, it was a best 22 player, but let's be real, BZT is not going to be a world breaker, right? He's just a good to honest, um, down to earth hard worker who will get his butt handed to him, absolutely. But the thing that BZT has done, which has been a massive inspiration for a lot of us fans, is the fact that he gets beaten down so often, but he always gets back up again. So that's what BZT is. Whereas Dersma is someone who has the potential to, attack the game and hit the scoreboard for us. And unfortunately, the way our team is currently set up, with some players who are unfortunately unreliable with their availability due to injury, our forward line tends to be a bit bare, and a lot of times we become really reliant on 2-meter Peter to win the game for us. So he was out. We were a lot more dynamic. We were a lot more flexible. Langers was on fire, but we need to have more avenues to go. Harry Jones needs to just get his body right. Stringer needs to make sure that he can get a nice block of work in as well and make sure that he can stay fit and healthy. Perkins, he's getting midfield rotations, Caldwell midfield rotations. We're getting a lot of these players who are going through the midfield, and we've got mids playing forward. I would not mind having a guy like Sammy Durham also have some time in the forward line. He's a good mark. He's a good kick. He's great at ground level. And him and Dersma can alternate. We can maybe have Dersma on one wing, Durham on another wing, and maybe play Mardo on the ball as well. Put Nick Martin in some centre bounces because Nick Martin's over 190 centimeters, which is this. He's deceptively tall and he's obviously a very, very clever ball user, and he's cool and composed. Love having more of the ball in his hands, and if that means giving him some more centre bounces, then so be it. I'd be super happy with that. I think that our team's in a situation where we've got a lot of players who are flexible and can play multiple roles, whether it be on the ball, on a wing, and forward. The more that we can just give ourselves more options to attack the scoreboard, the better and less predictable we will be. And that is something that, unfortunately, we were just too much of in the back half of this year. Two-meter Peter focused, and unfortunately, that caused our scoring output to reduce because he was always double teamed and people were always sweating on him. And as soon as the ball looks like he's clear, bang, the ball gets intercepted. So I'm loving that we are really active in this trade period, that we're getting involved. Every single player under the sun is being linked to us. What do I think about Dylan Shield out and we get Gresham in? Look, I'm not against it, to be completely honest with you, because Shield, as we saw, he's a great player, and we gave up a couple of first-round picks for him, but he wasn't in the side. He was used as a sub a couple of times, and he's just not going to be in our next premiership tilt. It is what it is. I'd much rather give that midfield minutes to a Hobbs, to a Sardis even. I want to get these young guns, these genuine young stars on the ball, getting that game time. Dylan Shield, you've been great for us, but it's just a good fit for St Kilda, who don't have that type of player. Whereas Gresham, yes, he is inconsistent. He is probably the type of player that we at Essendon can't afford to have, because we don't want these mid-size players that just go missing. We've got plenty of those, and we've had plenty of those over the years. But you just got to think that we need something different in the forward line, someone who actually has goal sense, who can attack the scoreboard. Guelphy, bless him, the Prince of Perth, he busts his butt, he gives the effort, but he's just not a natural forward. Snelling as well. not a natural forward. As long as we've got these players in our forward line, it's very unlikely that we're gonna actually get anything successful because they're not threatening. The ball is very predictable going inside 50, and yet they're always out of position. We need guys like Gresham, guys like Menzies, Tex Wanganeen hopefully can come on. The Davy twins can hopefully as well come on. So in terms of these trades, obviously Todd Goldstein has nominated us, a great replacement for Big Flipper. So we've got an upgrade to Phillips. We've got an upgrade to BZT. So those are two upgrades right there. If we can get a pick 13, by being clever, getting rid of Shield to get a pick 13 back for him, that would be sensational. Which I guess leads me to what I want in the draft, talking about a draft pick. I think if we can get some more leadership on field would be awesome. More people with backbone who are alpha males who are willing to do the nitty-gritty stuff, the dirty stuff, right? And lead by example. And this is one of the things that has just made me love Zach Merritt as captain because he's willing to do those things. Why I've loved seeing Ben Hobbs play, and when he's put on the ball, he needs to work on that tank of his, but he's just that dedication, the die-hard effort that I have to win this. I refuse to lose, right? It is not an option. I do not give up. We need these types of players who have this commitment and this drive for success, and they tend to be your leaders. So if we can draft some players that have genuine leadership caliber, qualities to them, that is exactly what we're missing. We need more leaders on the field. We need leaders all over the place. It's a young team with a lot of young superstars to develop in there. We need a lot of leadership all around the ground in order to maintain the cohesion of this group, to get them all buying in to a successful culture, because that is what makes a good side. Good people make good clubs. I've said this to Big J so many times, and that's part of the reason why I keep referring to Geelong as being one of the best run companies, organizations, whatever you want to call them, in the country. Okay. You need good people in your club. And if we can get good leaders all over the ground to just get together, a bit like what the Bloods culture over there at the Swans, all those old heads, those wise heads get together, lead the group and tell them, this is what we do. This is how we win. We need these leaders, anyone that has capabilities like that in the side. Another forward would be great. All right. I'd love another forward. I would love also someone who can play as a dashing, running halfback. I know we've got Mason Redmond who can do that, and we've got Nick Hind who also can do that. But I'd love someone who, having more speed, I think, in this modern game is really important. So I'd love to get some more speed in us. Would have loved to have had, obviously, Clayton Oliver come across, but another bull, perhaps, to help out, because Darcy Parish won't be there forever. Obviously, he's not old just yet, don't get me wrong, but another bull in there to develop so that in the future, when Darcy Parish goes, you've got Hobbsy and another bull to go with. I think you need two bulls in your midfield in order for you to be a superstar. So who am I sort of thinking of? In terms of forwards, I'd love a guy like Jack Deline. He is from South Adelaide as a small forward. He's 181 centimeters, so it's not super small, 181, but he just kicks goals. And we need people who are genuine threats who can kick goals. You look at, we've said this on stream many times, your smalls are worth your weight in gold. Look at that grand final. Outside of Danaher's 3 and Mychek's 1, every other goal was kicked by a small in the grand final. And I said that's part of the reason why I thought Carlton lost. They didn't have enough smalls at ground level to crumb and to kick goals. In your big games, mate, they come to the fore and you realize, damn, we need a Bobby Hill. Damn, we need Jamie Elliott. Damn, we need Zach Bailey. These smalls all of a sudden take over the game. So I'd love Jack Deline to come into the side, He's a gun. He's a genuine goal kicker, and he can. And creating scores out of nothing is something that is really underrated. I know it's really important to be able to nail your set shots, but also being able to create goals out of nothing. Just give yourself a shot in the arm, give yourself some momentum back, because sometimes all it takes is one goal to just turn the momentum back into your favor. So someone like him, if I want another midfielder as well, I like the looks of Cooper Simpson from the Danny Stingrays. He's a midfielder slash forward, so he's really good. Then got composure, again, leadership. So Cooper Simpson, leadership. Jack Delaney also shows leadership. If I want a mid that can play defensively minded, like a defensive mid, because I know we've got a couple of offensive mids, wings, should I say. Offensive wingers in Martin and Durham, but Durham has done a terrific job being able to go back and take an intercept mark or two. However, if we're going to add the likes of Dersma, he's also offensive though. So I'm not so just to be sure to sort of balance up the offense with another defensive player. I like the look of George Stevens, who is from the Rebels. He is as a high level accumulator through the midfield. On the wing, he's really good. And he's also a composed leader in the back line. Once again, I'm talking about leadership. I want all our players to come in with leadership, who are buying in to your culture, buying in to your system, and encouraging and leading everyone else to follow with them. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what I want to see from the Essendon Bombers this offseason. First preseason, first trade period with, right from the start, Brad Scott at the helm. It is Dodoro, last one, and we're finally done. Matt Rosa, you got a lot of work to do. Please have your fingerprints on everything he does. Make sure it's all good, because we need to nail it. We're in a really interesting position in our trajectory. We brought Brad Scott on. We had a sensational first half of the year, and we fell away. We clearly have talent. We clearly have pieces to work with. We've got the facilities. We've got the fans, the passionate fan base that comes week after week. Even though so many of our games are at Marvel Stadium, we continue to show up and are in the top 4 or 5 for attendances. Imagine if we were good. The ground would shake with our excitement. Come on, boys. Come on, Essendon. Let's get the Essendon faithful shaking again. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all